All right. So our next and final review of the day is going to be for Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. I did not see this film, but Dusk
Mhm.
did. Dusk, give us the breakdown here.
Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, is a 2023 story about a character named Ruby Gillman, who is a teenage girl living in an oceanside town when during beginning of prom. When an accident occurs and she has to go into the water, she discovers that she indeed is a powerful kraken, a protector of the ocean seas. Now her whole life has been turned upside down as she discovers things about herself and her family and secrets about the ocean that she had previously been unable to see. It stars crap. It stars Lana Condor as Ruby Gillman, Toni Collette as Agatha Gillman, her mother, Anne Marie as Chelsea Van der Zee, which is a mermaid that you've seen who resembles Ariel from Disney's Little Mermaid, and Jane Fonda as Grandmama, the warrior queen of the seven seas. This movie is pretty typical for most kind of movies. It actually reminded me a lot of Disney's own Red, I'd say. Uh,
Okay.
But while Red kind of focused on the coming age aspect of a girl, this kind of comes into a similar vein of discovering that she has powers, discovering she has a family history, discovering that she has responsibilities and how she has to deal with it. I think the first foremost I'll say about this movie is the animation is really good. It's really colorful. Everything in the animations to the color design, the ocean is very colorful, even if it in the very beginning kind of seems kind of drab. It eventually opens up when she starts exploring the ocean. Ruby Gillman herself, I think, is voiced fairly well by Lana Condor, who was Jubilee in X-Men Apocalypse, but
Hmm.
better known, I think, honestly, from To All My Boys film series.
Yeah.
So I think she does a good job. I think she does a good job playing a teenage girl. Whether I'm maybe used to seeing this awkward kind of humor or writing. It feels very paint by numbers in the aspect of the writing, and some of it is a bit, I want to say, over embellished or a bit overdone in some of the dialogue, and honestly, not the best. But I think honestly, the movie makes up for having just really varied characters, a very distinct art style. I mean, the city they live in is, I thought it'd be a change of pace of, oh well, the Krakens are going to be visually like colorful, but the rest of the city isn't. But no, the city itself that she lives in is very vibrant, and that extends later to the ocean. And honestly, without really going into super detail about it, although I don't really think it's anything that you couldn't guess, it's basically a coming of age story. I don't think it does anything too spectacular that other movies haven't done before, but I do think the animation and the fluidity of the way that Ruby moves and the uniqueness to some of the they have these doodly arms, and it's really fun kind of seeing them like move and jump around and flop around. Since they have no vertebrae, they even mention that in the film. They are forcing themselves to act like humans, so it's interesting to see them when they flop about, or when she gets sad and she just kind of collapses. And she wears a lot of her emotion in her body language, and I think that's probably the most fun I had for the movie. The movie's clearly not made for me and mine, but I think you wouldn't be so wrong to see it. Or if you had I guess honestly, if you have a teenage daughter and she's interested in animation, don't think this would be a bad thing to take her to. I think everyone does their job well. Everyone does their voicing well. Jane Fonda is fun, at least as the grandmama, and I think Annie Murphy is pretty fun as of course the bitchy popular girl who tries to befriend Ruby. Uh, Overall, I'd say this is a solid stream it. It You don't really need to see it in the big theaters or even a matinee. This is a good, comfortable stream it where you can just kind of sit back, watch the movie, and kind of go, "Oh, that was fun," and feel like you had a good time kind of watching it.
Hmm. Interesting. Question.
Yeah.
Um. So, like, I see that she's like in a regular high school or like other kind of. So, like, do they not comment on the fact that she's blue or nothing like that? Like,
Okay, so here's the joke. So they mention that. They do mention it. So they live oceanside. They're not allowed to go into water because they're told going in water is bad. Ruby later finds out it's because, well, I become a powerful kraken and that has its own problems. But her mother has been and father have been saying like, yeah, don't do that. We want to blend in with the humans. But yeah, the moment like within the first 5 minutes they step out, they're like, remember everyone, if anyone asks a question, we're a Canadian. That's just
oh,
the answer they give. Where it's a, does she have blue
okay,
skin? No, I'm from Canada. And then she shows she has like Canadian pin, and everyone's like, oh, that makes sense. And
okay,
that's probably like the fun. That's one of the running jokes is everyone just say it's like, I'm from Canada. Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense. Canadians are weird. That's fine.
okay. Ray from Tree says, I feel like this just came out. It's called Luca.
Yes. Okay. So if we're gonna give a better example of the same topic, done probably a bit honestly better. I like Luca. I liked Luca more. Luca is a better use of that. And we even Josh and me had problems with that movie, especially when it comes to the lore. Hey Josh, if you ever had a problem with the lore, Ruby Gillman's got you covered. They got that lore down pat. So what was missing from Lucas? If honestly, if we could combine Lucas and Ruby Gillman, we could have a full complete Kraken movie. It would be pretty good. Fish Kraken movie.
Mm.
But honestly, yeah. Well, Lucas is better overall in tone and I guess in approach. I did enjoy Ruby Gillman for what it was, and I do think visually it was good. And I thought everyone's performances were pretty solid all the way through. Will it ever get a sequel? Probably not. Even though it has a potential for it at the end of the movie. I know how DreamWorks likes their sequels.
Yeah, I don't think a sequel is likely. This movie pretty much bombed.
It did 8 million, 10 million bucks. Yeah, that's
So
bad.
had a budget of 70 million.
Yeah.
Box office is 38.7 million. So it
Honestly, it's
bombed.
better than even I thought. Honestly, you know what? It's probably going to make up a lot in Blu-ray sales and some such in VOD. It'll be all right. But yeah,
Yeah,
sequel, I highly doubt it. But
yeah,
for a little movie, I thought it was all right. It's not bad.
yeah. One last question.
Yeah,
Do they make a release the Kraken joke?
they do.
Good.
Within like the first 10 minutes, he the when she finally discovers that she's a Kraken, she meets her uncle who comes ashore to ask her to, well, now that you're a Kraken, you got to go to Kraken Land and
Kraken land.
Kraken Land. No, I'm just making that last part up. That's something you would
Oh,
say. It's the land of Krakens though, like the kingdom of Krakens. But yeah, I just call it Kraken Land because it's simpler. But yeah, he just
okay.
shows up and they say and he's the one who makes the release the Kraken joke. So yeah,
Mm,
no, the the film is firmly tongue in cheek. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but I do think it has all the emotion of a teenage character, at least a teenage girl down pat, at least
mm,
on that front. So everything is super emotional to the point where everything's big, everything is crazy. It's the yin to Lucas's yang at that point. They kind of feel like if Lucas was more of from the boys kind of point of view of like a summer in a seaside town, this is like a girl's kind of adventure in a seaside town. Actually, with double pairing, it wouldn't be that bad. I think it would actually Ruby Gillman and Lucas wouldn't be a bad pairing for a double feature.
yeah. All right.
Although you
So,
want to end with Lucas, it's the better movie.
yeah. Yeah. Stream it for Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken from Dusk.